Hi everyone, Sarah here. I wanted to ask you if you've ever wondered why crying feels so confusing. Why crying? We know it's the ability to express our emotions. Why it shows up during the experience with certain emotions. It shows up when you're laughing at something really, really funny, when you're deeply connecting. It shows up when you're really, really sad about something. It shows up when you're really moved by something, when you're watching a movie that just moves you. Crying shows up when you experience connection. And I've always said this, that trauma shows up as a trigger. And all trauma is trapped information. It's information that desires to be expressed, felt, heard, accepted, understood. And trauma can show up when you're expressing your true emotions, when you feel deeply connected to your true emotions. And someone shared this recently that I always thought crying was when expressing true emotions meant only specific feelings. But I want to ask you, how can you define the specific feelings that desire to be expressed? Don't all feelings, all emotions desire to be expressed? Happiness, joy, abundance, love, connection, and the equal and energetic opposite, sadness, disbelief, heartbreak, they're all feelings. So I always thought crying when expressing true emotions meant only specific feelings. How can you pinpoint a specific feeling and say, I will only cry if I'm sad, and then hold back the resistance that you experience when you want to cry because you're so happy? Because for your birthday, someone who loved you so much went over the top for you and you just can't believe it. And you feel so loved. You feel so special. You feel so understood because they got you something that you had only mentioned one time, but that person was actually tuned in, actually listening, actually cared enough to remember and go out of their way and go above and beyond to get it for you. And now you're feeling happiness. And you've told yourself, I'm only supposed to cry when I feel sad. Where did that story come from? Who generated that belief in your mind? Because we can feel so confused when we begin to cry. I thought I was only supposed to cry if something is heartbreaking or sad, but now I'm crying when I'm happy. Now I'm crying when I hear a song that just moves through me and I feel the goosebumps all over my body. And so I'm really, really confused. This person went on to say, I cry when I share small stuff that means a lot to me. Yes, because it means a lot to you, because there's a connection to meaning. And there's a connection to meaning through emotion, through expression of the emotion. And that's what crying is. All crying is an expression of emotion, but it can be confusing because we have internal dialogues and voices and programming that says, you're this if that. You're a crybaby if you cry at something small, because to me, it's insignificant and meaningless. But to you, the one expressing your emotion in connection to the energy and allowing yourself to cry because it's simply just an expression, says, I'm only supposed to cry when I'm sad. Or this person says that I'm a baby, when clearly I'm not a baby, I'm an adult. So that's why crying can feel so confusing sometimes, because we have this story that's deeply embedded in our unconscious beliefs that says, if this, then that. If you're sad, then you cry. Or if you're sad, you're not allowed to cry, because then you'll experience fear, you'll experience being made fun of, you'll experience being punished because of times that you experienced that in the past. So now your inner mind has wrapped itself around this program, around this deeply embedded internal story, and is locked onto it. And when you experience a connection and desire for expression, and it shows up as crying because there's a true, real, raw emotion there, your mind tends to try to make it good or bad or right or wrong, or it's okay in this circumstance with these people in this situation, but it's not in this. And so it can feel really confusing because you may feel the emotion well up and desire to be expressed because it's a true emotion for you. It may not necessarily be true for someone else, but that's what happens. And that's why it feels so confusing, because we try and fit ourselves into other people's boxes as what's safe to express to avoid pain. Because if I express this and I get made fun of, I will experience pain from that person or in this situation. And I don't want to. I've already experienced enough. I don't desire to experience more pain. I desire to experience more pleasure. And in that, we'll hold that true expression of our emotion, because somewhere in our programming from the past says, no, 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 that will lead to more pain. So you need to avoid that. Hold it in, hold it back. It's not safe. It's not okay. But what you're experiencing internally is a connection to true emotion. And so it can feel really confusing, like, what is wrong with me? Why am I crying? Why am I getting so emotional over this? You can experience those things and hear that internal dialogue from past programming that says, no, don't go there, or that's not safe to go there, or who do you think you are? You better watch out. And so we resist, we pull back, and we stuff our experience with that. And in that, we disconnect from the experience of connection with our true emotion. And that is true freedom, is safe connection with true emotion. And many of us grew up with experiences from our past where we lacked that. We lacked the safety. We lacked the true understanding and the safe expression of connection to our true emotion. So that is why crying can feel very confusing. Why, when you are finally in a space to safely connect to yourself, it can feel like you can cry for days. And that is like an outpouring of all the times that you resisted or didn't feel safe or good enough to allow yourself to truly express. And now you're in a space where true expression and connection to those emotions and feelings is okay, is coming out. All of the things that have been pushed, shoved, and bottled up are coming out because they need to. Because you're finally in a space of connection to that emotion that's always been there. It doesn't just magically go away. We put it places, we shove it down, we bottle it up, we put it into places, and it always comes out. It always finds a way to be expressed. And if you don't, it will begin to express itself oftentimes in physical ways, because it's trying to get your attention. It is trying to connect with you and say, hey, this is true for you, and you need to process this. And if you don't, if you neglect to or ignore that very, very real truth, I'll give you something you can't ignore. And it often presents itself and manifests itself in much more painful ways, in often physical ways. So feeling safe, understanding it's okay for you to cry, nothing is wrong with you, you're not a crybaby, and really disconnecting from those internal and unconscious beliefs that it's not safe to connect with your true emotions and desires, and it's not safe to express them, is liberating, is freeing. That is the journey and the beauty of going on the journey within to really, really connect with yourself. So when you're ready for that, I've got an incredible abundance of programs that guides you towards that, depending on what your outcome, your desired outcome and goal is, or if you're interested in working one-to-one together, there are options for that as well. You can find all of those in the description below this video using the link. All right, guys, hopefully that clears up and provides some clarity around the confusion of crying. Thank you guys, sending you so much love, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.